Welcome to Pax Europiana here from St. Pölten. That's the capital of Lower Austria. That's the region why this Schengen veto has happened. To all my friends in Romania and in Bulgaria, obviously, I want to make it very clear. It's just an internal political maneuver of the leading Austrian party, the populists of Kurz and now Nehammer, who have decided to make this campaign in order to rile up the populism and the people against migrants, and Romania is a kind of substitute for that, a victim. It's utterly unfair and it's strategically absolutely wrong. We are in the time of war with Russia and the second year now, and we face absolute energy crisis. And it's the same party and the same people who led us into this dependency. Don't forget, yeah? It's the same people who explained us all the last decade we have to buy more Russian energy because it's so cheap, such a good deal, it's such a reliable partner, and it's the same party of Schössl. And they have done that. And now, basically, instead of working together, because that was always the other option, Norway and Romania, because there is huge resources, they have not lifted the resources in Romania on Russian request, because it's so cheap, the Russian energy. And now, in this war, they continue with this policy because Germany has stopped importing Russian energy, oil, gas, coal, in end of 2022, and Austria is continuing with imports, and they are obviously still not able to change our energy system, and instead of making very good cooperation with Romania, they offend Romania and make that kind of absolute disaster policy continued. And that's then, of course, that's also about internal politics, because there is a strong populist party, and this is exactly, they are actually much stronger, because the whole strategy has failed completely, because since the summer, and the strategists of the People's Party of Nehammer, and they have then thought, what can we do in order to stem the divide and distract from the attention of 2022 war, and they have then understood whatever the strategy to copy 2016, riling up the people against foreigners and the migration crisis, and they have copied that with a debate. It's some internal things about how to accommodate migration, and then they artificially created a kind of accommodation crisis, and then they had this wonderful idea together with Orban and Vucic, who are very much the reasons for the ongoing crisis, because they have this Serbia has opened the gates towards India and Tunisia, and now they closed it. But why to open it from the beginning? It was only connected to the Kosovo non-recognition and to the non-aligned nation status, and so that was completely unacceptable of a 10 years EU candidate country, and they have done that. And then basically Hungary is serving Russian interests, and they have obviously very negative cooperation relation with Romania all the time, and that's basically then I'm just discovering that beautiful city. It's very nice here. It's a beautiful city, the people are not, it's very, very sad when, the people are played off against each other, and that's actually what's happening here. That's very nice here. I show you a bit of this amazing town. It's only my second time I'm here, but you see a lot of renovation, beautiful, and ahead of elections obviously they do a lot here also to show off. And it's a trading town in the Danube Valley, and it could be much richer if we had better policy, like Romania, for example, like Bulgaria, having some low taxes, having some reforms, building the infrastructure that connects Romania, because also then they are against infrastructure connecting with the east, and they are not in favor of opening the labor market, and all these things are here happening, and that's very, very unfortunate. And now the policy basically is playing off the interests of the Austrians against the Romanians, as if Romania would not be much more pro-European than the Austrians. And this kind of policy of hate is very much to be rejected in my view. This is the marketplace, and so I get acquainted to more and more. They have a very nice pedestrian area. I like that very much. That's very good. And St. Pölten is a very nice place. There's no doubt here. And that's really cool. Not good. Yeah, guys, that's the story of St. Pölten and the Schengen crisis of 2022. And now it's the election in 2 weeks, on the 29th, on the Sunday, in basically 2.5 weeks. And then we will see what will be the resolution. I published this open letter yesterday that Niederösterreich, Lower Austria, this region, should basically change policy towards more decency in terms of a new compromise, and also our national government basically, because it's all about that one. It's the same people and the same politics behind it, because the Green Party has blocked a major infrastructure project, and it's the Eastern Motorway Ring around Vienna, and then the Austrian People's Party, the populists, have blocked the Schengen enlargement to make an anti-European sign, to play to the ranks of the dumb populists, and both strategies are totally anti-European, and so I really don't see what kind of sense such a government makes if they block each other, if they cannot cooperate on the basic things. They cannot even do, when we have a motorway ring around Vienna already and it needs to be completed, and then east of Vienna, where the critical infrastructure for the connectivity with Eastern Europe is there, then they don't do that because the Greens hate motorways. They want to leave the car behind. Yeah, that's also fine, you know. I don't have a car actually, so you don't need a car in Vienna. But the thing is, just because you don't need something, it's not that you can somehow not build the infrastructure for the rest of Europe not to have it. I mean, it's a very ridiculous thing to do. And so I'm saying again and again that it's nice here, but we're all Europeans. We should be equal under the law. We are under the law, but also the living conditions. Everybody has to compete and to perform. Also the regions must be competitive, but what is completely unfair is to deprive Eastern Europe of the infrastructure connectivity we have built already in the last 70 years. So we need to support them because it's also in our interest, because working infrastructure provides faster transport of goods and people, and the interconnectivity gives prosperity there and here. It's also our companies who are benefiting, our people, our tourists. So, yeah. Anyhow, I'm also positive here. I will also talk about the federalism of our system, because what we have, of course, achieved in Austria is that all regions have prosperity. It's not an exclusive centralist thing, but we have good progress everywhere and prosperity. Whenever, for example, when you see the level of prosperity in Lower Austria, it's not as poor as it was, but it's far from a really rich place. you know. So here also many things can be improved, especially by better infrastructure. And I was also researching now, still now in 2023, the infrastructure towards Eastern Europe, towards Central Europe. Now we are 20 years after enlargement, 2024, and we are 35 years end of the communist regimes across the border, and we have achieved a lot, but it's by far not as good as I thought it will be because simply we were not ready for the unity and the costs and the funding, and we are doing too little, and we're all doing our small little things inside and some things are happening on the European scale. But as we see again in the war year of 2022-23, our infrastructure towards the east, despite all the pleas to do it, it is far from satisfactorily. And that's very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. Now I enter this government headquarters. I showed it on some of my videos already. It's very interesting. They basically built a new government headquarters here when they decided to make St. Pölten the regional capital and no longer Vienna. And they built a modern administration center a little bit outside, but that was a very good decision and I really like it. That's a very good thing to do. Yes, that's my first video. I will do a number of other videos here now, and I will call for Schengen enlargement, for the Lobau tunnel, and for a strong infrastructure hub here in the center of Europe. And that's a much better policy. And I call the government of Austria to build the infrastructure and to enlarge Schengen, to support EU enlargement, to join of course NATO, no doubt about that, and to reform a bit better. We are at war and the performance is miserable. To be honest, miserable. Only things happen if Germany does something, then Austria feels the urge to react. Hello, Germany is in NATO. Why don't you join? Germany was in favor of Schengen. Why don't you? Anyhow, good. This is nice here. I will add some of the dramas to this, and I will show you this government headquarters and also make my statements what we need to do. Good. This is very good start of this year. Thanks a lot, and more to come, and please support Romania in Schengen and support Bulgaria in Schengen and for European Austria. Thanks a lot. Bye.